We're good? Okay.
Okay.
Good morning and welcome to the 46th Annual CALLERLAB Convention. We are in...
Okay.
Where are we? I lost my sheet. Richmond, Virginia. Richmond, Virginia. It is 9 o'clock on Tuesday, April the 16th, and you are here for the Visit Basic Workshop. My name is Wendy VanderMeulen. I'm from Ottawa, Canada, and I'm the moderator. And our two panelists who will also contribute are Wade Driver from somewhere and Norm Poisson from the other place.
Yes, ma'am.
So, we do ask that if you have cell phones or anything, and if you need to have them on, please just have them on vibrate. Don't have them turned off or anything else. So we're going to be looking at 3 different basic calls. Half sashay, bend the line, and run. So my notes were laying on the back chair. If any of you got them, I would like to have a square up, just because it's easier to, I mean, if we were just going to read notes, then we wouldn't need anybody. I'm taking woman's privilege and going first, by the way, that's why I'm. So if we can get a square, we could start with 4 people, and then we'll move up to 8 or however you want. It's just more fun to dance it than it is to, like I say, read through notes. So can we get some other people? Do we want music, or do we just want? Well, we'll start without. We'll start without. We'll just go through notes. So while the square is setting up, if you did pick up my notes at the back there, you'll notice the format of my sheet, the way the top half of the sheet, every single call in my basic mainstream and plus manual starts like that. This is my call analysis sheet, basically the way I do it myself. So I'm doing the call half sashay. It works in a couple. Ending formation is a couple. What you need to know, what you need to instruct your dancers is who's on the right and who's on the left, because that's the important part of the call. So, it doesn't matter, guys, girls, it doesn't matter. I teach half sashay after the call wheel around, because I like to use the 2 calls in formation, in combination, I should say. I'm not sure the order it is on the list, but that's just the way I do it. The important thing to stress is you need to know who's on the left and who's on the right, because in a half sashay you change places with each other. The right hand dancer slides in front of the left, so you change places. Nobody turns around and faces a different direction. Okay, so first of all, from a box of 4, so just for now, let's have the heads lead right, veer left, and bend the line. Okay. And actually, don't join your line, so we're just working in couples. Okay, so what we'll do in a couple, so for now we'll start, just pass through, wheel around, which we assume you all know, and then half sashay. So the girl, in this case, slides in front of the boy, because that's where they are. Star through, California twirl, slide through, and you're back at home. So we'll do that a few times, and I usually do it in a Sicilian circle, and I arrange it so that then you move on to the next couple, and you do stuff with the next couple. But here's a couple more. Star through, pass through, wheel around, half sashay. So the nice way, because I do it after a wheel around, the person on the left has the person's on the right's hand and can direct them. So you can lead them into it. It's always important. That's why we have handholds, so we can help each other. Star through, California twirl, and you're back in your box of 4, not where you started, but that's fine. Okay, so, and another just short sequence, do a right and left through, pass through, wheel around, half sashay, star through, California twirl, star through, pass through, partner trait. So you've noticed up until now I have only been using calls up until where half sashay is on the list, because I'm assuming that for the first little part we're teaching it. So I keep explaining. Always, once again, you do stress who's on the left and who's on the right. At first I will say, you know, the girls, like who's on the left, who's on the right. I expect all the girls to raise their hand. And so we just do it for the first little while with just the girls on the right. Okay, so all 8 of you join up, hands and circle left 2 steps until you're back at home. Okay, so after doing a few things in boxes, then I try to get them, when I set them up into squares, then I'll do things like heads, pass through, wheel around, half sashay, star through, do an allemande left, and you're back home. So just something short so that they can see the difference between doing it in just their box and then doing it in a squared up set. So sides, promenade a half. Down the middle, pass through, wheel around, half sashay, star through, California twirl, pass through, allemande left. And you're back at home, so you don't have to worry about the promenade and the time. So those are just a couple of samples of what I would do when I'm teaching it, just the very basic stuff. Okay. So that's from a head, from a squared up set, so that you had just the heads or just the sides working. From then I would take them into lines. Okay, heads lead right, veer left, bend the line. So considering that you're still in a square, okay, pass through, wheel around, half sashay, circle left, join up hands, circle left. Ladies that are in the men's sashay, do an allemande left, come back and promenade. Sides lead right, dive through. This, who got bombed on the head? Who got? I love that call. Stretches my back up, you know, partway through the dance, you get a nice stretch in your back. Do a double pass through. First couple go left, second go right. Everybody pass through, wheel around, half sashay, slide through, done with the star through, do a U-turn back and a right left grand. And if the men stop when they're at home, the ladies will come and be there in a moment or two. Okay, so that was a lot of half sashays with the girls going in front of the guys. So before they get so used to it that they can't do it any other way, you might want to start doing half sashayed, half sashays. Okay? Cute. To be honest with you, I started calling 19 years ago. Is when I started to call that I actually found out that half sashay was a move. It was just never used in our area. And it's like, okay. Sides pass through, wheel around, half sashay, pass through, wheel around, half sashay, and this time the boy goes in front of the girl. And you need to stress that sometimes the boy does go in front of the girl. Most times or often you'll find out that the guys don't want to do that. They're not being gentlemen by going in front of the girl. But you have to stress that they need to know to do that, because you can do half sashay with boys together or girls together, so then they can't argue over who goes where, because it's always the right hand dancer in front of the left hand dancer. Sides lead right, circle to a line, pass through, wheel around, of course, half sashay, pass through, wheel around. And I would assume by now that probably the first time didn't work all that terrifically correct. And so I'd say, okay, now who's on the right? And I would ask everybody, if you're on the right, put your hand up so I know that you know. Good. So do a half sashay, and that person that raised the hand goes in front of the other. Okay, circle left a couple of steps and you're back home. There's other sequences here. We can, oh actually yes, we'll do the next one anyway. Head square through 4. Do a right and left through. Veer left. Bend the line. Watch how they do that. Okay.
I did. I wondered what.
Pass through. Wheel around. Half sashay. Half sashay again. Oh, nice, not bad. Do a right and left through. Ladies chain. Star through or slide through, whatever you want to do. Do an allemande left, and you're at home. Okay. So that was pretty basic stuff just from a squared up set. Then I start doing it I've always done it from wheel around here only because I like the way it flows. And I find that if I do it after a right and left through or a lady's chain, it has a tendency to turn into a rollaway for whatever reason. And I think it's maybe because the man has his hand on the lady's back and it directs him in a tighter circle or whatever. So I find that that's why I like wheel around. But after working it through quite a bit of time like that, I can feel now that, okay, now they're getting the drift. I can do it from other places. Sides pass through, separate around onto a line, pass through. Okay, and for now, okay, we're going to do a wheel around first. So remember who the left-hand dancer backs up, right? Wheel around, half sashay. So here we've got boys together and girls together. So by now, hopefully, they've sort of made the connection of who's on the right and who's on the left. Center 4. Do a half sashay. Okay. Everybody do a half sashay. Good. Star through. Do an allemand left. And you're home. So, sides lead right. Circle to a line. Do a right left through. Half sashay. Okay. Star through. You turn back, right, left, grand, and promenade forwards or backwards, however you want to do. Okay, let's do this one just I have here to add complexity and fun. It's more fun than it is complex. Of course, you guys are callers, so you're not having a hard time with it. So it would be totally different if we had people, right, that are your new dancers and you're just learning to do it. Sides lead right, veer left, as a couple circulate. Sides only, wheel around, and half sashay. Oh, look at this. I should have done the heads. Ah. My bad, my bad. See where you're set. It's on the tape. Darn it. I started with sides instead of heads. Heads lead right, veer left, couples circulate. Sides only wheel around and half sashay. Now we can do the everybody pass through. Wheel around everybody, half sashay. So we've got boys going and girls going. So that's generally a pretty good test if you're getting it right or not. Centers only half sashay. That's just the girls. Everybody half sashay. Centers only half sashay. Heads only half sashay. Everybody slide through, pass through, out man left. Yeah. So when I first start using it, I often use it as a substitute for right, left through, wheel, or past. Heads, if your heads promenade halfway, come down the middle, do a right, left through, right? Do a right, left through, then you end up back at home again. So for the first one, I'll just have them pass through and wheel around, but then you can start doing all these fun, different little things. Okay, then of course, so that's half sashay. Then you have reverse half sashay, which of course means the left-hand dancer.
Reverse wheel.
No, half sashay. Half sashay. So reverse half sashay is the left-hand dancer goes in front of the. Oh, you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to do it. Okay. Sides lead right, veer left, bend the line, reverse the flutter wheel, and reverse half sashay. Ooh, my checkers did that beautifully. And checkers never lie. Thanks, Ron. Checkers never lie. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Everybody do a half sashay. So we're back to the normal. We're normal couples, right? Okay, do a right left through. Flutter wheel. How did I do this so badly? Reverse half sashay. That was better. I don't know. I think I must have been thinking reverse and reverse in front of the flutter. Anyway, so where are we? Circle left. Ladies center, men sashay. Do an element left. Come back and promenade. So obviously those notes will be changed before we set them out in the thing, right? I have a section there for fractionalized half sachets, because you can half sachet, you can half sachet, or you can half sachet once and a half. I didn't get around to writing any choreo. I started and I was just totally lost, so the idea is there. So, and this is to get you thinking, right? It's not to tell you everything what to do, it's to also get you thinking. So we go, just for now, heads to half sachet, once and a half. That's once and a half. So you went out tandem. You went out tandem. Good. Do a double pass through. Okay, boys go left, girls go right. Do a U-turn back, face in. Okay, good. Pass through. Wheel around. Half sachet. And get you back at home again. So sides, do a half sachet, once and a half. Once and a half. So the boys are in front. Do a double pass through. Boys go right, girls go left, face in, pass through, do a partner trade. So that's just a little sample. So I do have a couple of singing call figures. Let's throw on just a. Just do the first part of it. We'll do two of the figures maybe. 4 ladies chain, go straight across that ring, you know. Join up hands, circle left. 4 ladies roll away, circle left, and then ladies roll away. Allemande left and weave the ring, touching you, so warm and tender. Swing your lady then, you promenade her. Beautiful is a dream that makes you mine. Head couples lead right, veer left, chain down the line. Do a half sachet, then touch a quarter. Everybody circulate 2 times, boys run. Do a right and left through, swing your corner. Put her on the right, promenade, all the way around. I have never been loved like this before. Heads past the ocean, extend, swing through. Boys run, bend the line, reverse the flutter wheel. Oh, you're not gonna hold it up. Do a half sachet. Everybody do a half sachet. Then square through 3 hands. Swing the lady around and then you promenade. I have never been loved like this before. Okay, that's enough for now. That was just to show you. So one was regular progression, one was reverse progression, just to get back to your partner again. There's one other one there that uses a reverse half sachet, which may or may not work because I use the flutter wheel, so whether I got the right one or not. Take your checkers out. Always double check what other people write because it doesn't always work. But anyway, so that's a very quick intro, sort of a thing to half sachet and a few examples of what you can do with it. But obviously, once again, it's to get you thinking of different things to do, different ideas, and go home, pull out your checkers, and go crazy. Thank you very much to our dancers for helping us out. Question? Okay, just a second, one question?
Do you, when you're initially teaching half sachet, you don't go this far, or you?
No, not on the first. Not on the first. For the first night, I will do half sachet normal and half sachet. But generally, anything after that will be the second week, or possibly even the third after we've been doing it. Any other questions? Any other questions? None? Good? Okay, then I shall pass it on to the man on my left, Wade Driver, with bend the line.
Do you have 2 bars of time? Okay, just use them. Okay, whatever.
today's guest, not every whatever. And you see, we got the good morning. We also have Ohio Gazette for our folks. Anyway, my name is Wade Driver from Spring, Texas, in case you didn't know that. And this is either going to be a very short presentation, if you buy into what I'm saying, or a very long presentation if you don't. Can I have a square, please? If you would be so kind. Thank you. Breathe, Jeff. All right, good. All right, this good. No, that's pretty good. Good, perfect. Yes. All right. Head couples lead to the right place. Veer left. Our definition of bend the line has two words I hate. It says when you as a couple you're going to bend to face the center of your line, the centers are going to back up. I hate the words back up. All right, we have elementar, we have do-si-do, we have grand square. Other than that, I see no purpose in backing up. Now, except in the wheel, now that's different because but the pivot would indicate that in person is going to back up. And so just do like you normally do, bend the line. Look how far apart you are. Pass through, we're going to get worse. Bend the line. Pass through. This time, please, the centers hinge and stay on the piece of real estate you have. Make the end go forward. Bend the line. Therefore, because every time you take a step backwards, you got to take a step, 2 steps forward to catch up. I've already talked to Clark Baker and to Jeff about taking those words out. Because, and I've taught this way for years and years, and it really helps the new dancer pass through. Because if that center backs up, that means the lines are going to be as far apart as the 2 ends. That's too far apart. So if the centers will hinge and the ends come forward, we do not have that problem. Bend the line. And there you are. Then you can go right into the next call. Pass through, please. Okay. It's the center people. This time when I do bend the line, I want the centers to back up. Bend the line. Look how far apart you are.
So you want them to stay as a pivot point?
Yes, but the center, I pass through. If the center stays as a pivot point on every piece of real estate, it keeps the lines together. Therefore, the new dancer is automatically not 2 steps behind. Bend the line. And you're right there, right on that through. Because you're right within arm reach. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, that's all. I just don't like those words back up now. Sort through. Veer left, please. I know you hate that, that's expediency, right? Now, particularly here, we use this place here more than the parallel lines. Bend the line. And there you are, all right? Start through, please. I'll come to a halt. Now, veer left. That's it, right? This time, centers, once you back up, bend the line. You can't do it right left through from there. You got to come forward first. Am I right? That's my whole presentation. You know, I mean, how kinky can you get on bend the line? All right? Good. Pass the ocean, please. Recycle. Veer left. Ferris wheel. Centers reverse wheel around. Reverse half sashay. Just say it. Look through here. Start through. Bend the line. Right on that through. I have no clue who was wearing what, don't care. But that's why I like to see. In start through, that I know. Those in the head position have sashay. Let's see. Who you did? I know you got a example. Oh, flutter wheel. Okay, like I said, I forgot the looks. I don't really care. Good. Good now. One more time. Head comes lead to the left. Veer right. The pivots of the boys, they need to stay where they are. Bend the line. Flutter wheel. She's right there. All right. Sweep a quarter. Start through. Like I said, I'm not paying attention to it. Anyway, that's my whole thing. Any comments on that? Does it make sense? Yes, sir.
From the two-phase line,
Yes, sir.
it seems to me that if the centers are pivot point, you wind up in a Z.
Start through. Veer left. If you want to be absolutely technically correct in that C4, yes it does. We're talking basic. And so we have what I call it adjust, you call it fudge. Right? But it says on the bend the line, you bend so the 2 couples face each other.
Okay.
That's all, that's it. So, okay, bend the line. So you have to hinge. But it's literally, it's an 8-inch adjust. That's what it is, all right? Now, if you're doing follow up in his character, which I can't even think in those thoughts, all right? If you're taking it at a challenge level, yes, then you're absolutely precise. But you're dealing with a matrix of 16 and not 8. Big deal. Does it matter? Do you adjust? No, you don't. Well, thank you, okay? Noah's on my side, I love it. Yeah, the question was, when you bend the line from a two-faced line, it puts you in sort of a Z. It puts you in a half Z. And so, but at the basic level, you're easy to adjust. Again, but half, no, I don't want to go there. You wrote this, you just said, this is Mr. Z, and that's the thing, that's not how you get there. Anyway, but that was the question. And at basic, it adjusts to the two couples facing, okay? If I got that, I'm done. Thank you. All right, thank you very much, appreciate it. I'd like to introduce you on my left, Mr. Z. Noah Poisson.
Okay. Well, I've gone from half sachets and whatever, and I got runs. So can I have a square? We won't be crazy. Well, only half crazy. Yeah, in challenge we have a thing called Crazy Song. And she did crazy half sachets, which is everybody half sachet, Santa's half sachet, everybody half sachet, Santa's half. That's a crazy half sachet. Whatever. Okay. So, can I have the heads lead to the right, circle 4, break out to a line? Okay. One of the kind of things that I start with runs is do a little exercise to make sure that we show that a run involves 2 people, not 1. Pass through. In this case, I want the girls to stand pat, don't move, okay? The boys, I want you to run around that girl halfway to face in. Go, boys. Right? You're right there and there. Right? All the girls turn back. And see what we've done? We got a hell of a mess. So, take the girl you're with and sashay to the right, or slush to the right, make 2 lines. We have to fix that. So pass through. What an event is, the boys are using the same basic move, but they're not running around the girl, they're running into her position. So, one of the kinds of things we have to get her out of the way, either way, or we create a hell of a mess, right? So, in this case, the girl becomes the running. I have the runner and the running. The runner is the designated person going to the right. The running has to move into the position's place beside him. You're going to take a step into that position. And in this case, it's to the left for the girls, okay? So the boys run, and the girls slide over, and lo and behold, we get nice parallel waves. One of the kind of things when we start out is to make sure that the run involves both people, and the other person knows that they're the running. So in this case, the girls are going to run into the boys' position and holding on to. The boys going to slide over. So the girls run. Good. Everybody star through. California twirl. Pass through, and there's a corner, alley, whatever. Okay. A run corner, whatever. So, okay. Now the heads lead to the right, circle up forward, break up to a line. Pass through. One of the kind of things we do, by and large, if you look at the basics through mainstream, most of the runs involve the boys, and it's always running to the right. We make right-hand dancers, right? So in this case, the girls run left. The boys are going to slide over. Okay? left. Box the net straight ahead. Do a right and left through. Pass the ocean or pass through face makeaway. Good, swing through. Boys run. Okay, wheel and deal. And if you box the net, it'll be a right and left grab, but don't do that. Just turn through and squeeze that. So we save the time. Okay. Heads, lead to the right. Circle over 4. Break out to a line. Okay. Pass through. Okay. Girls run to the left. Cast left 3/4. 1, 2, 3. Right. Boys trade. Left swing through. All right. Girls run to the left. Bend the line. Do an arm and a left right there. Back up, screw this head. So far, so good. All right. Have everybody California 12. All the boys run right to an Alamo ring. Different. Your Alamo swing through. All the girls run right. Join your hands for the left. Ladies center and Sashay. Woo! Ladies center and Sashay. Ladies center and Sashay. Doing all around left. We can have fun with it. Okay. Head ladies change. And the head square through 4. Pass through. All the boys run. So we have columns now. All 8 circulate. Centers trade. All 8 circulate again. All trade. All 8 circulate. All the girls run. So far so good. Double pass through. Leads trade. Touch a quarter. Boys run. Star through. Pass through or dive through or whatever. Outside trade. Centers pass through. Slide through. Pass through, wheel and deal. Zoom. And centers wheel around. Do an out and left. Anyways, that's about it. We did have some kind of crazy stuff. Huh? Yeah, go ahead.
Mitch Pickle from Brookville, Colorado. You have this talented group of people here who know how to run. I work with a group where I'm a teacher, and I got people who cannot figure out that a run is just a half circle. And so I'm looking for any tips you can give me to teach, if I'm the guy here, running around the girl, just I'll bore you for a second, that my job is to not do this, or to do this. What can I do to just make him do this?
The runner will change facing directions.
Well, I change facing directions in all that.
Okay, so the run will do a half, change facing directions from the wall they're looking at to the wall over there. The runnee, the other person, never turns around. It just slides over.
Precisely, but if you watch me again here.
Don't dance, I need first.
I'm facing this wall. Now I'm facing this wall.
Yeah.
And I have people I cannot break from them. I need to figure out
what to do to convince them that it's just this easy. Well, I'm trying that.
One idea is demonstrate. Demonstrate, demonstrate, demonstrate. Reinforce it's forward in a semicircle. That's the terminology I use. Forward in a semicircle to face the opposite direction.
May I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
As in sports and in basketball, the fall is very rarely the move itself. It backs up earlier than that. At the beginning of your class, teach them on my same soapbox. You don't back up in this sport. You don't dance hindy first in this sport. You walk forward, 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 forward. Then when you finally get to this point, it'll be much easier to teach.
No, that's first rule. First step is always forward.
That's it.
That's it.
Can I make a suggestion? When I teach the call run, and I always do this, so let's say we have a two-face line. Oh, my name is Eric CALLERLAB from San Francisco. Heads lean right and veer left. Okay, so we have a situation here where we say boys run, right? So boys run. Go ahead and do that. Now, what's unusual about that is you have the boys run in front of the girls. That feels strange, right? It does feel strange for a lot of dancers. This is usually where we have an ocean wave. So if we say boys run here, I'll teach boys run. So boys run, boys walk in a half circle, the girls will slide in. I know your issue, okay, right? But now I've got them here, and then I'll teach them that they can do a boys run again. So now we complete the whole circle. Boys run one more time. The boys are going in circles. And I'll do this like 2 or 3 times in a row to get the idea that the boys are just going in circles. Boys run again, and then boys run again. And they get the idea they're going in circles, but that run is just really a half circle around there. If you keep doing that, they'll get the sense they're going in circles around this person, the other person's sliding in and out. So that gives them the idea that, and pretty soon they'll get that. Girls do a U-turn back. Couples circulate. And out of nowhere, I'll say, boys run. And there they have it. And they're starting to get the idea they can walk in front of the girls or behind the girls, but they're walking the circle around. But you got to keep getting the circle all the way around.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just how you have to look at the people you're teaching, and people learn in different ways. Not everybody sees the call the same way. And so lots of times you have to adjust your teaching to fit the people you're working with so they will understand, right? And in this case with the runs, swing through. This is the one you normally see, boys run, couples circulate. That's what you see that. And a mainstream dance, you'll see that 99 times, right? Bend the line. Okay. Go for it.
Mike Caesar from California. I agree with Wendy that the demonstrations are critical before we teach calls. A lot of our dancers are visual learners. That really is critical. Pass through your lines. The other thing I think is helpful is I agree with Norm about the runner and the runnee. And I have the runners raise their hands so they designate who the heck they are. If I'm going to have the boys run right from this spot, I'll say, boys, raise your hands. Boys are the runners, okay? Girls are the runnees. Guys, look at her toes. Look where she's standing right there, okay? You want to stand exactly where her feet are, but in order for you to stand there, she's got to get out of the way. So runnees, because he wants to stand right where you're standing, you've got to slide over to the spot vacated by the guy that's running around you. So I have them a lot of times look at their toes, look at the position on the floor where they want to stand. The other thing is, and I use it when I teach square through and I use it when I teach run, is you got your nose, your toes, and your belly button, and you never turn your nose, your toes, your belly button away from the person you're running around, okay? And I think if they can visualize that, it's just a visual thing. Your nose, your toes, your belly button, never turns away from the person you're running around. So boys in half circle, run right around the girls. Girls, you got to slide into his spot because he wants to stand right where you're standing. So it's a different way of saying this exact same thing that you're saying, but the more ways that we can say it just gives it a better.
That's a great idea, right? I never thought of looking at your toes. You learn something all the time. Anytime you're called, you'll learn something. Yeah, go ahead.
Lawrence Johnston, Northern California. One of the things that I see when I go to an unfamiliar group to call, a lot of times, if I tell the girl to run right around the boy, she kind of does a half sashay action instead of a run. And my friend Jeff Roberts, when he's calling, a lot of times when he calls the girls run, she'll just say, make sure you turn the corner when you run. The runner has to turn the corner as they go around. The runnee doesn't turn.
Any other questions?
I have one comment.
Look, you're right.
If you can't say the same thing 5 different ways, you got problems. Because everybody hears words different. You tell a bunch of ladies who have been home forever, you say do a right face, and the only thing you're going to turn is the head. They don't understand military terms. Right, so you have to be able to say the same thing 5 different ways to get everybody to understand.
Eric Henderlock again. So we all teach that, like the swing through, the boys run. We do that, it's very common choreography. We don't use girls run as often, as Lawrence points out. The girls sometimes have a problem with that, which is why it's one of those calls that I believe is very important to teach early on. As soon as the run is taught, soon thereafter teach the girls run, so they don't always get locked into when you hear a run, they slide over, because that's all they hear is there's somebody run, they just slide over. So when you hear girls run, if they hear it early on enough, they'll go through the same exercise again. All right, girls run. Okay, girls run again. Girls trade. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I realized. Pass the ocean, pass the ocean. Okay, here we go. This way. Girls run. Girls run again. Girls trade. Girls run. Girls run. They're starting to get the idea of going in circles around these people. So they're getting this sense of what a run is. In this case, we're doing like a little figure 8 pattern going through here. But when the earlier on they get that sense of what a run is for them, the less likely they're going to make that mistake of just sliding over, which we want to see a lot. And usually when I see that with dancers, it's with callers that only call boys run, and never call girls run.
Any other question?
I have a question. If I may, which is it legal in your opinion or whatever to do an everybody run? Quote trade. The only reason I bring it up is that many times you want the end and the center of trade. It takes you 3 times as long to say this as you do to do it.
Yeah,
Is everybody running?
I wouldn't do it. Put it down.
That's right.
You could have everybody trade. That's, you know. Right. Okay, what can I do?
Yeah, I'm Hal Barnes in Colorado. One thing we haven't looked at that I think is a neat use of run is to introduce inverted lines. Let me see. Let's have the ladies just turn around. Okay, and everybody bend the line, pass through, tag the line all the way through, face right. Okay, so now the ladies run. And we've got inverted lines, okay? And then you can do the centers run, and you're very quickly back out of those inverted lines. And so it's typically, especially at the basic level, we really avoid inverted lines like the plague. So another version of this pass through and tag the line all the way through, face to the right. Here's one thing I do. Men circulate to the next men's spot. Ladies circulate to the next lady spot. Ladies run around the man. Everybody steps straight ahead. Okay.
What was it?
Everybody didn't like that, but so let me.
What did you want?
What do I want?
You have
Yeah, okay.
inverted lines.
Yeah, okay.
Guys, everybody steps right.
Yeah, let me fix that with just centers pass through. Okay, cast off 3/4. I set up a everybody half sashay. I was just going to show you a kind of a get out using that same thing. I don't know who boys and girls are. So centers half sashay. Are we normal? Okay. So here's a little get out that uses that same idea. I don't know where the corners are, it doesn't matter. Pass through, tag the line all the way through, face right. And the same thing I did before. Men circulate to the next men's spot. Ladies circulate to the next lady spot. Ladies run around the man. Everybody steps straight ahead. Out man left. That's a kind of a get out that I use.
What's the setup? Where do you start that?
Partner lines in sequence.
In sequence partner line.
Partner lines in sequence, and use that get out, so it's a real simple.
That's cool.
So partner lines and sequence, so head step right to a line.
Yeah, okay, head step right, okay.
Line.
We have partner lines in sequence.
Right.
And here is the get out. Pass through, tag the line, face right. Men circulate to the next men spot. Ladies circulate to the next lady spot. Ladies run around the man. Step straight ahead, out of man left.
Mike Gormley from Central Florida. Round dancers have a way of teaching like 2 forward, 2 steps, and they use a 7-5-2 kind of a thing. Is anybody familiar with that? 7-5-2. It'd be like side step, side step, side step, side step, side step, whatever, 7 times, and then forward, that kind of thing. Okay, and then they do it in 5s, and then they do it in 3s finally to get it down. So I got to thinking about some of the, I have trouble with partner trade, and I don't see why it couldn't be applied to this run process. So what I've been doing of late is I've been getting, if that couple would go up the aisle way over there, and this couple go over here, you're all separate as people. Everybody, you're not in a square, you're just as couples, okay? And if I was going to teach a trade, or if you would just spread apart, another step, spread apart another step, I would start from here for the trade and have them go around a big arc. Everybody walk forward with your partner that you have. For the tape, we're in separate couples spread apart by about 4 or 5 feet. Walk forward and pass right shoulders with your partner and go to their spot. That would be a trade, okay? And then I would get them to do that a number of times, and then I would have them step in, maybe 3 foot apart. So step together just a little bit. And I would have them do it again. Walk forward, pass right shoulders. And then finally get them where they're side by side and do the same thing. And then they have the action, they have the right shoulder passing rule kind of a thing on a trade. I don't see why it couldn't be done with a run. Spread apart. Boys, you're going to run around to the girl's spot. Girls, you're going to slide clear over to where the boy is, okay? But you're going to make a big arc as you go, and you're going to walk forward. So boys run. For the tape, we're about 4 or 5 foot apart right now with our partner. Okay, and then I would get them to do that a few times to get the feel of the arc. And then I would move them a little bit closer together and just keep doing it until they're finally side by side, and then they should have it. That's all.
Very interesting. We all have different ways of doing different things, and like Wade was saying, if you can't explain it 5 different ways, now that one's totally different. Has anyone else ever thought of doing it that way? But I do get it. It does. It makes some sense. So for your dancer, maybe that's having a hard time with the 1 or 2 or 3 different ways you've done it. The 4th or the 5th may work.
If you look at the list as a teaching order, you've gone way above where the heck it is. You know, wheel and deal is not on there, tag the line is not yet taught. There's a whole bunch of calls in there to teach up to a run. And just look at the teaching order. Run is like number 39. So when you're teaching, you got to back up. You can't use calls up the list when you haven't got there yet. You can't use wheel and deal. You can't use tag the line. You can't use a whole bunch of stuff. So you have to be very careful with kind of things. I've seen, people way over the top. You want to lose some dancers? Get crazy. That's all my, stay within the list. Think of where the boundaries you establish. If you're following the teaching order, don't use calls beyond the teaching order to resolve. That's my last hurrah.
I was about to say the same thing. Don't forget who we're working with. Some of them barely speak English. You know, if you get way over their head, our attrition rate goes from 0 to about 80% real quick. Fun, easy. Impress them 2 years from now. Right now, you can impress your dancer just by letting them win. You know, that's Mr. Z and I, that's what he told me.
All right, thank you, dancers, very much. Does anyone have any questions for any three of the calls?
Yeah, for this exercise, I ran a copy of the teaching order. So I was careful not to use anything beyond that to run.
Yeah. Well, that's for the teaching aspect of it, of course. You can expand on it. Once you've taught it, then you can use some of this other stuff that was presented. But for the teaching thing, yeah, you don't go beyond what you've already taught, obviously. So, Bill.
I've certainly had, this is Bill Friedman from New Hampshire. I've certainly had a dancer who, even in her second year now, has trouble with run. It's more a question of she's not sure what she should do, no matter how many times you tell her. Clearly, there's a learning disability here. And the big problem is to figure out what it is she's not hearing, what it is she's confused about. You know, I've tried all of these things, but it's not sticking, and you have to really listen to what that dancer's saying with their movements if you're going to figure out how to help them along. That's just a comment, that's all I have.
I absolutely agree. You have to come up with some kind of something that will tune in, will get that particular dancer's attention. I use for the ladies. Ladies, they're giving away free diamonds on the other side of the sky. Go get them. And I said, you don't go to the ball and back into it. You go nose first and hands reaching. You know, if it works, fine. If not, come up with some other kind of analogy. Because you do it over and over until you find the analogy that fits that person. And sometimes you look for a very long time.
And I think sometimes I tell my dancers that in every program, basic, mainstream, plus whatever, there's going to be one call that gives them grief. And if it gets to the point where they're just not getting it, but people are helping them fix it, just say, you know what, eventually it'll probably work. But for now, it's the one call that you're having a hard time with. So don't worry about it, it'll work itself out. If it gets to that point, that's generally what I tell the dancers.
Richmond, Broomfield, Colorado, do they get a partner? Just one. I asked this question of Betsy Got at the Women in Calling class because I was a partner / checker. And what she said when she teaches it is you always keep the same shoulder facing the person. And I was just asking all y'all for, you know, other ways to do it. But what she said was you always keep the same shoulder facing the person you're running around. And so I'm going to take that back to class next Monday and see if the people I can't get to do this can figure it out that way. I talk about orbiting. I'm orbiting this person. And with Betsy's little piece, I am the moon orbiting the Earth. The same side always faces the Earth. So, 2 or 3 different ways to get there.
Yeah, you gotta look at it. You gotta be careful. You're orbiting sounds like you're going around that person and actually you're going into their positions.
I mean, the thing that Eric was doing where you're going, just
But,
Getting the feel,
yeah,
getting the feel.
I like the toes bit. Whatever works. And you got different people and they're different learning. And if you have to put the calls in, or explain the calls different ways to different people. You know, I had a woman that couldn't Zoom. And we worked all kinds of things. And one day she came in and she said, I've got it, I can Zoom. I said, oh, what do? She said, it's easy. If I'm the lead, I roll back and face my back. And from that day on, she could Zoom. It's how people see things. It's just amazing.
You're right, and if you find the running into is what big, when you go run, you run it into that position, and you will find a few weeks later, it'll sure help you with circulates. If you run it into that spot. Think about it, if you do touch quarter, you can split circulate. The out facing in, just run into that spot. If they don't want to run, you gotta come up with all sorts of other words. So this is cumulative. Everything we start from, I love it when everybody makes minor changes to teaching this stuff, we know that. But it was designed in a fashion to be cumulative. And so it makes the way you teach, like building blocks. You can't put the top on the other foundation. And this is what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And although we always do teach that you're running into a spot, I mean, how many people here have ever called boys run around the girls? Okay. How many people call boys run into the girls' spot, girls move over? No, we don't. Okay. So it is, we do refer to it as running around, even though it is running into a spot. Into a spot. Pardon? Traditional, yes. It's a hard habit to get at, for sure, for sure.
I need a melody for a singing call so I can say boys run into her spot and girls move over. I need lyrics.
That's your job. You're the music producer. You work on that one. You work on that one. Yeah. Any other questions? We're a little bit early, but we can head out if there's anything else. Any final things you guys want to say? Nice job. That'll do.
Nice job, Wendy.
Thank you. Thank you for Wade and Mark. Thank you all for coming. And say it's early, but do what you like. See you at the next session. Thanks a lot.